Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're going on a journey through time to uncover the secrets of Delhi. You know, that city that's both ancient and modern, a place where empires rose and fell, leaving behind a tapestry of history and culture.
What's fascinating is that when you think of Delhi, you're not thinking of just one city, but layers upon layers of cities, each built upon the remnants of the last. Each dynasty, each era leaving its mark.
It's like an archaeological layer cake. And to guide us through this delicious history, we have a pretty hefty PDF, simply titled Delhi11.pdf. Don't worry, we're going to extract the juiciest bits and weave them into a story that's both informative and entertaining.
Absolutely. We'll make those ancient stones sing.
Okay, so let's start with ancient Delhi before the 12th century. I have to ask, have you ever wondered if the mythical city of Indraprastha from the Mahabharata, the grand capital of the Pandavas, actually existed?
It's a question that has tantalized historians and archaeologists for centuries. The Mahabharata describes Indraprastha as this magnificent city, potentially as far back as 900 BCE. Now, while there's no concrete archaeological evidence to pinpoint its exact location yet, we know for sure that the region was inhabited during that time.
So it's like a real-life mystery waiting to be solved. Who knows what future excavations might reveal? But even if Indraprastha remains shrouded in myth, we do have tangible evidence of another great empire in the region.
Exactly. We're talking about the Mauryan Empire and the influence of Emperor Ashoka. Imagine ancient Buddhist stupas rising against the landscape, testaments to Ashoka's embrace of Buddhism. It's a reminder that even in those ancient times, Delhi was a place of cultural and spiritual significance.
It sets the stage for the epic story that unfolds. And as we move through time, we encounter the first recorded rulers of Delhi, the Tomara and Chauhan dynasties. What's fascinating to me is that the Tomaras built Lal Kot, which translates to Red Fort.
That's right. It's incredible to think that the iconic Red Fort, so often associated with the Mughals, has roots that stretch back even further. It shows us that history is rarely about clean breaks. It's about layers upon layers of influence.
It's like a building constantly being remodeled and expanded upon. And speaking of shifts in power, we can't forget the pivotal year of 1192, and the fall of Prithviraj Chauhan to Muhammad Ghori.
This was a seismic event that ushered in centuries of Islamic rule in Delhi, marking the beginning of the Delhi Sultanate.
So we're moving from whispers of ancient legends to a period of dramatic power shifts and the emergence of a new era in Delhi's history. The Delhi Sultanate, from 1206 to 1526, was a whirlwind of 5 dynasties, each with its own unique story to tell.
It's a period brimming with ambition, intrigue, and architectural marvels. Imagine a tapestry woven with threads of different colors and textures, each representing a dynasty that left its mark on Delhi. That's the Delhi Sultanate.
Let's start with the first of those threads, the Slave Dynasty, founded by Qutb-ud-Din Aibak. Now, whenever I think of the Slave Dynasty, I can't help but picture the towering Qutb Minar.
The Qutb Minar is not just a tower. It's a symbol of victory and ambition. Reaching for the sky and standing tall even today, it's a testament to the architectural prowess of the slave dynasty.
It's a must-see for anyone visiting Delhi. But there's another figure from this dynasty who deserves our attention, Razia Sultana.
Ah, yes, Razia Sultana, Delhi's first and only female sultan. Her story is remarkable. Imagine the challenges she must have faced ruling in the 13th century, a time when women in positions of power were rare, yet she managed to hold her own, defying societal norms and leaving a lasting legacy.
Her story makes you realize that the history of Delhi is not just about grand structures and powerful dynasties, but also about individuals who dared to challenge conventions. It adds a human dimension to this epic narrative.
Absolutely. And as we move to the next thread in our tapestry, we encounter the Khilji dynasty, known for their ambition and expansionist policies. Alauddin Khilji, one of the most prominent Khilji rulers, was a fascinating figure. He introduced market reforms, strengthened Delhi's defenses, and even expanded the city's boundaries with the construction of Siri Fort.
Siri Fort, another fort. It seems like every dynasty had a penchant for fortifying the city. I'm starting to see why Delhi is called the city of forts.
And each fort tells a story. Siri Fort, for example, reflects Alauddin Khilji's vision of a grand and secure capital. It's another layer added to the already intricate fabric of Delhi.
Okay, so we've had the Slave Dynasty and the Khilji Dynasty. What comes next in this whirlwind of rulers?
Next up, we have the Tughlaq dynasty, a dynasty known for its ambitious rulers. Some might even say erratic. They were constantly pushing boundaries, sometimes with remarkable success, and sometimes with disastrous consequences.
I think I know who you're talking about. Muhammad bin Tughlaq, the ruler who decided to move the entire capital city hundreds of miles away to Dalatabad, only to move it back to Delhi a few years later.
The very same. His decision is still debated by historians. Was it a strategic maneuver? A logistical nightmare? Perhaps a bit of both.
If you ask me, it sounds like a decision that backfired spectacularly. It makes you wonder what life was like for the people who had to pack up their belongings and move not once, but twice.
It certainly highlights the impact a ruler's decisions can have on the lives of ordinary people. But it also reveals a key aspect of the Tughlaq dynasty, their relentless pursuit of change and their willingness to experiment, even if it meant facing setbacks.
It's like they were constantly trying to figure out the best way to govern, even if it meant making some mistakes along the way. They weren't afraid to try new things.
Exactly. And it's important to remember that not all Tughlaq rulers were as unconventional as Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Take Firoz Shah Tughlaq, for example.
Oh yes, Firoz Shah Tughlaq, the builder. He was known for his focus on infrastructure.
Precisely. He built canals for drassas, which, by the way, are Islamic schools, hospitals, and rest houses. He was focused on improving the lives of his subjects and leaving a lasting legacy through public works. It shows us that even within a dynasty, you can have rulers with very different approaches to governance.
So even in the midst of all this political drama and shifting power dynamics, there's a sense that these rulers were also concerned with the well-being of their people. That's something I hadn't considered before. And as we approached the end of the Delhi Sultanate, we encountered two more dynasties, the Sayyid and the Lodi dynasties.
And it's important to remember the context in which these dynasties emerged.
Yeah.
We can't forget Timur's invasion in 1398, which significantly weakened the Sultanate, creating a power vacuum that allowed these new dynasties to rise.
Right. History is full of these ripple effects. One event leading to a cascade of others, it's like a chain reaction. And it's fascinating to see how the Lodi dynasty, particularly Sikandar Lodi, laid the groundwork for a city that would later rival Delhi in grandeur.
That city, of course, is Agra. While Sikandar Lodi was focused on consolidating his rule in Delhi, he also founded Agra, a city that would later become synonymous with the Mughal Empire and its architectural marvels. It's amazing how these cities are interconnected, their destinies intertwined across centuries.
It's like they were planting the seeds for a future they couldn't even imagine.
And speaking of the Mughals, that brings us to the pivotal year of 1526 and the First Battle of Panipat, where Babur, the founder of the Mughal Empire, clashed with Ibrahim Lodi, the last Sultan of Delhi.
It was a clash of titans that would forever change the course of Indian history. Babur's victory marked the end of the Delhi Sultanate and the dawn of a new era, the Mughal era.
And that's where we'll pick up the story in the next part of our deep dive. Stay tuned. Welcome back to our deep dive into the history of Delhi. Last time we left off on a cliffhanger. The dawn of the Mughal era. Can you feel the anticipation building already?
The Mughal era, it's synonymous with opulence, power, and architectural marvels that still take our breath away today. It's like stepping into a world of emperors' grand palaces and a level of artistry that's hard to comprehend. But it all started with Babur, the founder of the Mughal Empire. And here's a twist that might surprise you. He actually favored Agra over Delhi.
It's true. While Babur established the Mughal dynasty, his heart seemed to lie with Agra. He even described Delhi as a city of thorns in his memoirs. Imagine that. The founder of the Mughal Empire not quite taken with Delhi.
It shows that even the most powerful rulers have their preferences. But his son, Humayun, faced a different set of challenges. He even lost Delhi for a time to Sher Shah Suri, a powerful Afghan ruler.
It was a time of great upheaval. Imagine the power struggles, the shifting alliances, and the uncertainty of who would ultimately control Delhi. It's a reminder that the path to power is rarely smooth, even for those born into royalty.
It's like a real-life Game of Thrones, with different factions vying for control. But Humayun eventually regained Delhi, setting the stage for the Mughal Empire's golden age.
And this golden age was ushered in by a trio of emperors who left an indelible mark on Delhi and India as a whole: Akbar, Jahangir, and Shah Jahan. Each one contributed to the Mughal Empire's expansion, cultural flourishing, and architectural legacy.
Akbar, known for his wisdom, his tolerance of different religions, and his expansion of the empire, actually preferred ruling from Fatehpur Sikri and Agra. It's interesting how, even within the Mughal dynasty, there were different preferences for capitals.
It shows the complexity of Mughal rule. They weren't just conquerors, they were patrons of the arts builders and administrators who shaped the cultural landscape of India. And while Akbar might have favored other cities, his grandson, Shah Jahan, would make Delhi his grand canvas.
Now here's where things get really interesting. Shah Jahan decided to make Delhi the Mughal capital and built the magnificent Shah Jahanabad, which we know today as Old Delhi.
Think about it. The bustling streets, the grandeur of the Red Fort, the majestic Jama Masjid, and the vibrant Chandni Chowk all coming to life under Shah Jahan's vision. It was a city designed to showcase the power and splendor of the Mughal Empire.
If you could travel back in time, wouldn't you want to wander through the markets of Shah Jahanabad? Maybe catch a glimpse of the emperor himself? It's like a dream come true for history buffs like me.
And we can still experience echoes of that era today. When you walk through the streets of Old Delhi, surrounded by the Red Fort's imposing walls and the Jama Masjid's soaring minarets, you're walking through a living testament to Shah Jahan's vision.
It's a reminder that history isn't just something we read about in books. It's all around us, embedded in the very fabric of the cities we inhabit. But as with all empires, the Mughal era eventually experienced a decline.
Right. Aurangzeb, Shah Jahan's son, while a powerful ruler in his own right, implemented stricter policies that led to internal tensions and a gradual weakening of the empire.
And we can't forget the devastating sack of Delhi by Nadir Shah in 1739. Imagine the chaos, the plunder, the sense of vulnerability that must have gripped the city. It's a reminder that even the most powerful empires are not invincible.
Exactly. The sack of Delhi by Nadir Shah was a turning point. It signaled the beginning of the end for the Mughal Empire. Mughal authority gradually eroded, culminating in the British takeover and the exile of the last Mughal emperor, Bahadur Shah Zafar, after the 1857 revolt.
It's a poignant end to an era that had spanned centuries. The Mughal Empire, once a symbol of power and grandeur, was now a fading memory. And with the British taking control, Delhi entered a new chapter in its history, one marked by colonial rule and the emergence of a new power dynamic.
The British had their own vision for Delhi. They decided to move their capital from Calcutta to Delhi in 1911, signaling their intent to make Delhi the center of their imperial ambitions.
And to solidify their power, they set about creating a new city. A city designed to showcase British authority and architectural prowess. We're talking, of course, about New Delhi.
New Delhi was envisioned as a modern, planned city, a stark contrast to the labyrinthine streets and Mughal grandeur of Old Delhi. It was designed by the renowned architect Sir Edwin Lutyens, who envisioned wide avenues, imposing government buildings and sprawling gardens.
Think of iconic landmarks like India Gate Rashtrapati Bhavan, the presidential residence, and Connaught Place with its wide circular shopping arcade. These were all symbols of British power and their attempt to reshape Delhi in their image.
It's fascinating to see how the city's landscape became a reflection of the changing political dynamics. The Mughal era's grandeur was juxtaposed with the British Raj's imposing structures, creating a unique blend of architectural styles and historical narratives.
It's like a visual representation of the layers upon layers of history that have shaped Delhi. But even under British rule, Delhi played a crucial role in India's fight for independence. Imagine leaders like Mahatma Gandhi and Subhas Chandra Bose, their movements resonating through the streets of Delhi, their calls for freedom echoing through the ages.
Delhi became a hub of resistance, a place where the seeds of independence were sown. And it was in Delhi at the Red Fort that Jawaharlal Nehru, India's first prime minister, delivered his iconic Tryst with Destiny speech on August 15, 1947, marking India's independence.
That speech, delivered from the very heart of Mughal Delhi, symbolized a transition from colonial rule to a new era of self-determination for India. It's a moment that sends shivers down my spine every time I think about it.
It's a powerful reminder that even in the face of oppression, the human spirit yearns for freedom. And with independence came a new set of challenges, most notably the partition of India and Pakistan.
Partition was a traumatic event that led to mass displacement and violence. Delhi, being at the crossroads of this upheaval, witnessed a massive influx of refugees from Pakistan.
Imagine the city grappling with a sudden influx, the stories of lost displacement and resilience unfolding within its boundaries. It was a time of great turmoil, but also a testament to the city's ability to adapt and absorb change.
It's incredible how Delhi, despite facing these immense challenges, managed to not just survive, but thrive. New residential areas like Lajpat Nagar, Karol Bagh, and Rajendra Nagar emerged, accommodating the growing population.
And from the ashes of partition, Delhi rose as the political hub of independent India, housing parliament and key governmental institutions. It was a city reborn, a symbol of a new nation finding its footing.
And that brings us to modern-day Delhi, a megacity grappling with its past and its future. But we'll delve into that fascinating chapter after a quick break. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We've journeyed through ancient myths, powerful dynasties, the rise and fall of empires. Now we're standing on the cusp of modern Delhi, a megacity that embodies the complexities of India's past and the aspirations of its future.
It's amazing to think that this city, which began as a cluster of settlements along the Yamuna River, has transformed into one of the world's largest and most vibrant metropolises.
It's a testament to its enduring spirit, wouldn't you say? It's like Delhi has this incredible ability to absorb change, to adapt, and reinvent itself while holding on to its unique character. Absolutely, think about it. We started with whispers of the mythical city of Indraprastha. Even though we haven't found concrete proof, the possibility that such a magnificent city could have existed so long ago is tantalizing. It sets the stage for the grand narrative that is Delhi's history.
And from there, we move through centuries, witnessing the rise and fall of dynasties, the echoes of empires, and the indelible marks left by those who came before. It's almost like we're peeling back layers of time, each layer revealing a new facet of this incredible city.
The Mauryan Empire, with Emperor Ashoka's embrace of Buddhism. Imagine those ancient Buddhist stupas, symbols of peace and enlightenment dotting the landscape. It's a reminder that Delhi's story begins long before the recorded dynasties.
Then came the Delhi Sultanate, a period of over 3 centuries marked by 5 distinct dynasties. Each one left its own imprint on the city. From the towering Qutb Minar, a symbol of victory and ambition, to the market reforms of Alauddin Khilji.
We can't forget the Tughlaqs, either those ambitious rulers who sometimes made decisions that seemed, well, let's just say a little unconventional. Muhammad bin Tughlaq's decision to move the entire capital to Dalakaban and then back to Delhi is still a subject of debate and fascination.
It makes you wonder what the people of Delhi thought about that. Can you imagine the upheaval, the logistical nightmare of moving an entire city? It certainly makes for a good story, but it also highlights the impact a ruler's decisions can have on the lives of ordinary people.
Exactly. And as we moved into the Mughal era, we witnessed Delhi's transformation into a city of unparalleled grandeur. Shah Jahan's vision brought us the Red Fort Jama Masjid Chandni Chowk, architectural masterpieces that still captivate us today.
It's amazing how these structures have stood the test of time, serving as tangible links to a bygone era. They transport us back to a world of emperors and opulence, where artistry and craftsmanship reached new heights.
And even after the decline of the Mughals and the arrival of the British, Delhi continued to evolve. The British, with their vision of a new imperial capital, created New Delhi, a city designed to showcase their power and administrative prowess.
Think of the contrast between the Mughal remnants of Old Delhi and the wide avenues and imposing buildings of New Delhi. It's a visual representation of the changing dynamics of power and the impact of colonial rule.
But even under British rule, Delhi became a center of resistance, a crucible for the independence movement. Leaders like Mahatma Gandhi and Subhash Chandra Bose rallied the people, their voices resonating through the city's streets. And it was in Delhi at the Red Fort that Jawaharlal Nehru declared India's independence, marking the dawn of a new era.
That moment, etched in our collective memory, symbolizes the triumph of the human spirit, the enduring hope for freedom and self-determination. It gives me goosebumps every time I think about it.
It's a powerful reminder that even in the face of oppression, the human spirit yearns for freedom. And with independence came a new set of challenges, most notably the partition of India and Pakistan.
Partition was a traumatic event that led to mass displacement and violence. Delhi, being at the crossroads of this upheaval, witnessed a massive influx of refugees from Pakistan.
Imagine the city grappling with this sudden influx. The stories of loss, displacement, and resilience unfolding within its boundaries. It was a time of great turmoil, but also a testament to the city's ability to adapt and absorb change.
It's remarkable how Delhi, despite facing such upheaval, not only survived but emerged stronger. New neighborhoods sprung up, the city expanded its boundaries, and it continued to evolve, becoming the political heart of independent India.
And that evolution continues today. Delhi is a megacity grappling with the challenges of rapid growth, pollution, and inequality. But it's also a city brimming with energy, creativity, and a spirit of resilience.
Think about the impact of events like the Asian Games and the Commonwealth Games. They spurred infrastructural development, showcasing Delhi on the world stage. And let's not forget the Delhi Metro, a modern marvel that has revolutionized transportation in the city.
It's a symbol of progress and Delhi's determination to embrace the future. But amidst all this modernization, it's important to remember that Delhi's past is always present. The ancient ruins, the Mughal monuments, the colonial-era buildings, they're all reminders of the layers upon layers of history that have shaped this city.
It's what makes Delhi so unique, so captivating. It's a city where you can walk through ancient ruins in the morning, explore bustling markets in the afternoon, and enjoy a modern cosmopolitan nightlife in the evening. It's a city that embraces its contradictions, its complexities, its rich tapestry of experiences.
So as we conclude our deep dive into the heart of Delhi, I want to leave you with this thought. As you move forward, remember the lessons we can learn from Delhi's journey. Cities evolve, they adapt, they face challenges, but they also endure. And within their streets and monuments, within their stories and their people, lies a wealth of knowledge and inspiration.
It's a reminder that history isn't just something we read about in books. It's all around us, shaping the cities we live in, influencing the lives we lead. And by understanding the past, we can better navigate the present and shape the future. Thanks for joining us on this incredible journey through the ages of Delhi.